Growing up, my grandparents always went south, so come Fat Tuesday time, they would ship us boxes of moon pies and beads, and this time we decided to do a Mardi Gras story, so I could not wait to start making moon pies. To start, you need graham crackers. So I take about 10 graham crackers just to make sure you have enough crumbs. You're looking for 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs to start. So what you're looking for is a really fine crumb. You don't want any chunks or big pieces because that'll mess up your cookie. So this is the texture you're looking for. Pretty fine crumb, almost like a flour. Now that we have our graham cracker crumbs, we can get started on our graham cracker cookie. So what we do is we're gonna take 1.5 cups graham cracker crumbs, and I already have 1.25 cups flour measured out. We're gonna combine all our dry ingredients into one bowl and whisk them together. Next, we're going to add a teaspoon each of salt, kosher salt, and baking powder, and our secret ingredient, cinnamon, just a half teaspoon. Then just whisk them all together like you would a cookie. Ready to be added to our creamed mixture. Now we're going to cream our butter, 12 tablespoons. That is softened. Brown sugar, 1/4 cup, packed of course. And our other secret ingredient, Lyle's golden syrup. So a little tip about this, it's a sticky ingredient, so we like to use our friend Pam. Then also when you're measuring syrup or any liquid measuring, you want to get eye level. Right. And if I didn't mention it, it's 1/4 cup. Give you one little push. We're going to turn this on and mix until it's combined. Scrape down the sides every once in a while. All right. Okay, now that we have our creamed ingredients, we're going to add our dry ingredients. So we're going to mix until it combined, and then we're going to stir in some milk and vanilla. We're gonna add a half a teaspoon vanilla and 2 tablespoons milk. This will help our dough come together. Make sure this is on low because we don't want the milk splattering. Okay, now that we have our dough together, we're going to divide this in half, wrap it in plastic wrap to form kind of like a round disc, to make it easier to roll out later. I have already gone ahead and started one dough. I'm going to show you this dough is a little soft. So I make 2 rounds of dough. It makes it easier to roll out and to get some thin cookies, which we're looking for. Refrigerating the dough is key because it will get the temperature just right for rolling. When you're pressing the dough, go ahead and make it thin. You're going to eventually roll this dough out to 1/8 of an inch, so the more help, the better. Now into the refrigerator they go. I have pulled out one of our chilled doughs that we're now going to roll to 1/8 inch thick. One of the things that we like to do in the test kitchen is use little dowels. If it starts to get too warm and not quite as easy to work with, pop it back in the fridge. And that's a great thing about rolling it out on parchment. It makes it easier to pop in and out of the fridge, to re-chill, or do whatever you need. If you did chill this overnight, let it sit out just a hair because it'll make rolling it out a little smoother. I kind of turn it once in a while. I leave the dowels where they're at because at this stage you're not worried about getting too thin in the center is what I'm just kind of working it out. You can cut out quite a bit. You know you're at the right thickness when you can tell that your rolling pin is rolling without any resistance. I can see here there is no more give. We're rolling right on the dowel. Let's get to cutting. We're using a 2.5-inch round cutter. This kind of keeps them a nice shape because they will spread a little when they cook. You can re-roll the scrap once though, because too many times and it'll get a little tough. Once you feel that the dough's kind of sticking to the cutter, don't even worry about pulling the cookies off yet. Just pop it in the freezer, let them set up again, and then you'll be good to go. One thing I like to use when taking off these cookies off the parchment is just a little flat spatula. It just gets under there nicely, makes sure it lifts away from the parchment. Voila. And if you have some little stragglers on there, just kind of brush them off a little. Make sure to space them about 2 inches apart onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. That way, they'll have room to spread. It'll make it easier once they're cooling to just transfer it all to the cooling rack. So you're gonna bake these at 350 for about 10 minutes until the undersides are golden brown and the tops are set. Now we have our cookies cooling. They look beautiful. We can get started on our marshmallow filling. To get the marshmallow filling started, you take a 1/4 cup cold water. So I just took tap water, let some ice cubes sit in there to get nice and cold. And then we're going to sprinkle a packet of gelatin over the cold water in the mixer. That will allow the gelatin to bloom while we get started on heating the sugars. Next, we're going to combine in a small saucepan fitted with a candy thermometer, 1/2 cup sugar, 1/2 cup corn syrup, a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 cup of tap water, so it does not have to be cold. Then we're going to turn on over medium heat. No need to stir these ingredients together. Once it starts simmering, they all start to blend together. Once it reaches 240 degrees, we're going to transfer it over to the mixer with our gelatin. We're gonna have the mixer running on low and we're gonna get our marshmallow going. We have reached 240. We will shut the temp off, remove it, and now with the mixer on low, we're gonna slowly drizzle this in, being careful not to spill it. Now that we have all that syrup added, we're gonna increase the speed and get this whisking for about 6 minutes. During the last minute of beating your marshmallow, you're going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, now that the marshmallow has been for 6 minutes, we're good to go. So since marshmallow sets quickly, the best way to fill our cookies is to pipe it. You're going to pipe about 2 tablespoons filling on the cookies. One of our favorite tips here in the test kitchen is to put a piping bag fitted with a tip into a glass jar to help kind of hold it up and make it easier to fill. So when you're holding in your hand, it's not going everywhere. I never said you wouldn't get sticky. All right, let me go get the cookies. I have gone ahead and flipped over half of our cooled cookies. This is the side that you're going to pipe the marshmallow cream onto. Just keep it into the center because once you press the top cookie on, it'll all come out to the edges. Move the cookies around, make sure they're all pushed to the side. These are gonna be darling. If you're feeling like you're getting marshmallow too close to one side, pick up the the lid a little on the top and give it a twist and just kind of push it around a little better. Now after you have assembled them all, they're gonna go into the refrigerator to set for about 15 minutes. So what I have going on here is a pound of semi-sweet chocolate. We're making our own double boiler. This makes melting chocolate a lot easier. I find that if you do it in the microwave, it tends to seize up. For moon pies, you want it to be smooth. I use a bread knife. It just really chops through that chocolate nicely and makes for an easier melting process. It's starting to melt. It does take some time, but you don't want to rush it because that too can make it seize. It is all melted and it's ready to go. But one key thing, let it cool slightly because this bowl is hot since it's been melting the chocolate. I'll go grab our moon pies. All right, now we have our moon pies, our melted chocolate, and here comes the fun part. We're coating them. So you're gonna take it, put it right in there. Our little friends, 2 forks. Give them a nice little chocolate bath. Make sure it's all coated around the sides. And tap off some of that excess. Put it right back on the parchment because when you're done, you're gonna pop these back in the refrigerator to get that chocolate to set. But don't forget, you can add a little fun sprinkles to them. Since it is for Mardi Gras, give them a little flair. Ta-da! Now you're gonna pop them into the fridge, let them set that chocolate, and then you can enjoy. I hope I showed you how easy these are to make. They do just take some time, but they really come together nicely and they're way better than the store-bought. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks.